Hello, everyone, and welcome to the big show. This is Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Trading Academy. If you're a first time listener, thank you for stopping by. As always, my name is Josh Lilquist, and we are happy to have you with us today. We got an action packed show for you here today. We've had obviously, a great week in the financial markets. As of this week, markets are and have been hovering above all time highs here once again, and we haven't been able to say that for quite some time. Markets obviously were a high back in January of 2022, seen a drop big time. As far as the S&P 500 market dropped about 27% roughly. Then we've seen the market soar back and really kind of chunk its way and chop its way back to the top of the market. So markets are looking good again, which is getting those buy and holders back to feeling okay again, which is a bit concerning because if you think about how the markets actually work, and also with Warren Buffett's phrase, be fearful when others are greedy, be greedy when others are fearful. Not saying we have a crystal ball or anything, or not saying which way this market goes, because quite frankly, it doesn't matter which way the market goes. We just want it to move. And that's a lot of the things we're going to talk about here today on Investing and Trading Live is opportunities in all direction of these financial markets. We're going to talk about how the market goes up. We all know there are opportunities and strategies to profit as markets go up. We are also going to talk about the biggest wealth creation and a much faster way to do that as the market goes down. There's a strategy to profit as markets go down. We're going to talk about that here today. So just different strategies or different strokes for different folks. We're going to talk about income strategies, whether you're in your working or income years. We're also going to talk about retirement strategies, and that will be 401k, IRA, 403b, TSP, whatever those retirement accounts that you have. We're going to talk about different strategies to utilize whether you are in those income years or maybe you are retired, and there's strategies to continue to build during retirement time and not have to just draw that down. Because if you think about how we're trained and conditioned to do things financially is get a job, work for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, whatever that may be, retire, and then draw down your retirement account. Hopefully you have enough in there to do that. Well, that's not the case for a lot of people. So we're going to talk a lot about in the second, maybe the third, and even in the fourth segments here today, how to have strategies with those retirement accounts so they have more longevity. Think of your retirement account as a snow pile. And quite frankly, we don't have much snow yet this year, so we don't have any snow piles, but we will. We will eventually have snowfall. And think of your retirement account as a snow pile in the spring. What happens to those snow piles in the spring? As it gets warmer, they start to melt. And if you're not replenishing that retirement account during retirement years, it will eventually be gone. Some of our listeners want to be able to leave a legacy for the family, leave some for the kids. Well, maybe not for the kids, probably the grandkids. There are strategies and techniques to use the markets to have that opportunity. So we're going to talk a lot about that on the show. As always, we do appreciate our subscribers to the podcast. That's Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Just check out Investing and Trading Live. We do appreciate that. But I want to do a quick market update as we get into the beginning of the show here. Just talk a little bit about how the markets work, what's going on in the market. But then we'll bring my guest on the show here in the second segment, and we'll talk about strategies and what's going on economically. So hopefully we can make smarter investing decisions moving forward. So as we know, back in 2024, S&P 500, and I'm looking at the SPY. For those that are watching the YouTube stream here, I'm looking at the SPY, which is the S&P 500. Now, markets obviously have hit all-time highs. We had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Market gapped up on Wednesday right around the 487 area. So looking really good with the S&P 500. It's basically blue sky above, which means what? There's no real supply overhead that could potentially drop the market. That doesn't mean the market will continue to go up. It could, but that's what we'll continue to talk about here today is strategies to, if we need to, get in at a little bit cheaper price, not just buy at the top and hope it goes up. So S&P 500 looking really good. Same thing with the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones is lagging just a little bit, but has hit all-time highs again. I believe that was on Monday, and then the market did drop as far as the Dow Jones on Tuesday. It gapped up on Wednesday, showed a little bit of weakness right away. We know what happened the rest of the week. So 379.96 as of the show here today on the Dow Jones. The QQQ, which is the Nasdaq, which is very similar to what the S&P 500 looks. The Nasdaq really soaring to all-time highs, gapping big time on Wednesday, gapping up and showing major strength out of the open, and just great movement in the market. Now with this one, this is your tech stocks, and we'll get into some stocks here in a little bit on a couple updates. We'll look at Apple. If we get time, we'll look at Tesla. So just different areas in the market, but looking good with the major markets. So that's kind of your major market update for the week here in the day. I want to look at a couple high flying stocks that people have been talking about. NVIDIA has really been driving a lot of this market. All-time highs right around the 620 area, 619 or so, depending on when you listen to the show. So great movements with NVIDIA. Apple, not at all-time highs, but right at it, between the 190 and 200 mark. But there was one stock this week, I think it was on Tuesday, and that would be Netflix. Now, for those people that have traded with Netflix and are in Netflix, really, I mean, this stock has been soaring since May of 2022, up roughly about 240%. But on Tuesday, after market close, earnings came out. It was actually bad earnings, according to it was a surprise of a 0.01 or 0.10 drop, but markets soared up. I don't know what they talked about, but closed on Tuesday at 489, opened up on Wednesday at 554. So a big move with Netflix. So these great moves that we're seeing in these markets are going to continue, but you need a strategy to how to identify where to buy, where to sell, how to make smart investing decisions, whether you're in your income years or retirement years. And we actually have investing classes that we do locally here at the Academy. We're an academy that trains people just like you how to trade and invest. And we're going to continue to discuss a lot of that stuff. But I want to invite you to an investing class to see some of the stuff that we're going to talk about here on the show, the techniques, the concepts on income strategies, wealth strategies, on different stocks, options, futures, Forex, whatever that soup du jour is. That's what we train and teach in these workshops. So come into one of these workshops on the financial markets and bring a friend. That way you can learn about these. Bring your spouse to say, hey, honey, this is what we want to do financially. Here's what we got to do to get there. Simply to come in one of these workshops, just text the word investing to the number 210 for 2 seats for an investing class right here at the Academy. You can also go to otamin.com. That's otaminn.com to come into one of these free classes to see how these markets work and make smart investing decisions. Coming up next, we're going to bring the special guest on the show here. We're going to bring Al on the show, and we're going to talk about income strategies and wealth strategies. So stay tuned. We will be